Have you ever noticed people who diet for weeks or months without ever stepping on a scale? No weigh-ins, no numbers, no tracking of progress by pounds? In a culture obsessed with before and after data, this behavior stands out. But psychology says this pattern isn't random. It reveals how these people process progress, protect their mind, and define success in ways most dieters never understand. One, they measure reality, not numbers. People who avoid the scale tend to track changes that actually reflect the body, not just the weight of it. They look at fit, shape, strength, and function, not a device that can go up from water, sodium, or muscle. They understand that you can burn fat and build muscle at the same time, and the number becomes useless, even misleading. Where most people get emotionally hijacked by a single weigh-in, these people anchor in evidence that cannot lie. Two, they protect their psychology from sabotage. Psychologists call the scale a high-volatility feedback tool. One bad reading is enough to make people who depend on numbers for motivation quit. Those who avoid weigh-ins reduce emotional spikes on purpose. They remove the trigger that makes most dieters quit in week 2. Avoiding the scale is not denial. It is a deliberate removal of a constant psychological threat. 3, they rely on internal data, not external approval. People who never weigh themselves tend to rely on markers. They personally observe how clothes fit, how energy stabilizes, how hunger changes, how training feels. This is what researchers call internal locus of evaluation. Progress judged by lived experience, not by a measurement that cannot distinguish muscle from fat. They don't outsource their confidence to a device, for they think in systems, not episodes. Most dieters think in days and in pounds. This group thinks in phases and in direction. They understand that success is built through trend and behavior, not single data points. Instead of chasing a number, they build conditions where losing fat is inevitable. Consistency, caloric control, strength training, sleep, because the mechanism matters more than the metric. 5, they avoid the comparison trap. Tracking weight invites comparison with past selves, with other people, with arbitrary goals. People who never weigh themselves eliminate the scoreboard that fuels insecurity and impulsive decisions. By removing the scale, they also remove the constant invitation to judge, compete, rush, and panic. They protect long-term focus by killing the short-term noise. So when someone diets without ever stepping on a scale, it is rarely ignorance. It is often maturity. They choose metrics that reflect reality, protect their momentum, and prevent the kind of emotional derailment that ruins most attempts at weight loss. I went through that exact phase myself. For weeks, the scale didn't move. And if I had trusted that number, I would have believed I was stuck. But when I measured, the picture changed completely. My waist was smaller and my arms were bigger. That combination, inches down in fat areas and inches up in muscle areas, only means one thing. I was gaining muscle and losing fat. And when that happens, the total weight can stay the same, even though the body is objectively changing. The scale hid progress. That was real. That experience is part of my story. I share in my free guide the 7 steps that got me out of obesity and made the results stick. The link is in the description. People who avoid the scale are not confused. They are simply paying attention to the changes that matter instead of the number that lies. They protect their progress from noise. They measure what reflects reality, and they refuse to let a device define whether they are winning or not. Some people diet for approval, others diet for transformation. The second group doesn't ask the scale for permission to keep going.